Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again. This is day two of a short series that I'm doing where I'm asking you to join me while I pray, while I surrender, while I seek alignment again. Um, it means a lot to me to have your support during this. Um, I also want for my own self to document this process and the results. And I also want to walk you guys through what this looks like because we've talked about these things in theory, and I want to show you what it looks like. So please do watch the first video, day one, where I explain sort of what led me to this. But briefly, there are circumstances in my life that I feel should be smoother. And based on my logic, I say, you know what? I can't get these circumstances closer to where I want it to be. And I feel like I have to surrender to higher power. But more specifically than that, more potently than that, the problem that I'm facing, and this is the alarm that you have to set, the canary in the coal mine, it is set, it will be set for you along the spiritual awakening path. When I realize that I spend more time listening to the ranting thought stream in my mind than to the gentle whispers of beauty from the divine, then I know that I need to realign. When I give my consciousness, my energy, my emotional reactions to the flare ups from my ego, the anger, the hurt, the trauma, the sense of injustice, the sense of frustration, the sense of fear, when I allow the energy flowing through my being to turn into those emotions instead of the natural tendency when you're aligned with spirit for your energy to flow into your beingness and for you to experience peace, love, joy, stillness, connection, faith, hope, all those kind of things, inspiration, creativity. I can tell that I am leaning more towards one than the other, far more than is normal. We are human beings. You go in and out of mind, heart, ego, self, alignment, not alignment, fear, love. It's okay. It's okay. Like you don't have to be perfect, but there is an imbalance where you're like, holy crap, why am I swimming in a sea of negativity? Why are my thoughts consumed by injustice? Why are old pains flaring up in response to a recent pain that triggered them? Like when that happens, it's time to realign. What I want to say is that the awareness of this is your spirit. So as much as I can sit here and list to you, this isn't working, that I'm not making enough money, I don't have enough views, I don't have enough time, my health, my this, my that, blah, 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 blah. And I can list the physical, worldly things that are not working. The thing that is working and the only thing, the only measure of success, of well-being is my spirit is yanking my consciousness back out of unconsciousness. My spirit is saying, why are you listening to those thoughts? And I go, oh, crap. My spirit is saying, are you aware of the fact that your energy is being siphoned into an unpleasant sequence of emotions right now? That awakening is your spirit awakening you and saying, hey, what are you doing? And before you went on this journey a long time ago, you would be lost in unconsciousness. You would be lost in the stream of thoughts for honestly years. I was pissed off and stressed out for a decade without even little tiny breaks in between. And now, even when I consider myself to be in a bad state, quote unquote, I am in that state for minutes. Maybe when something happened a couple days ago and got me really upset, I think I was in that state for about 45 minutes. But my spirit comes and gets me. And I am so familiar with it. There's a pre existing state of surrender to that. There's a permission that I have allowed When that happens, I go, okay, yes, thank you. I recognize, I allow, I stop. When it happened the very first time, immediately after I came out of this meeting that I didn't enjoy at all, and it was like 45 minutes. When it happened, when Spirit pulled me back, I was ranting and raving to my husband, and I stopped mid sentence, and I dropped the sentence, I dropped the emotion, and I moved on. And I am grateful for that. And that in my life is working. And I just want to say that the self in me, the cosmic self that I pray to, is the self in everyone else. And I understand that when you act from your ego, you interact with other people's egos. But I was going into this meeting that happened to me on Thursday, like 2, 3 days ago. I was going into the meeting and I knew that there was potential for conflict because things had been building for the last couple of weeks. And I said to myself, I got myself into my heart space, into the heart space. I surrendered. I felt joy. I felt the self. And I said, I am going there to understanding that the self is acting, exists in all of these people. The self isn't necessarily acting through them because they may also be unconsciously acting through their egos. But I can go in there surrendered to the self, speaking not to the ego that they present to me, but speaking to the self inside of them. And I went in and did that, and yet still the outcome was not the outcome that my mind wanted. And I was like, well, does this not work? But the insights that are coming through to me through these last couple of days of meditating and seeking guidance is that is if you are speaking to the self and the self shows you something, then that is what is supposed to happen. The self wanted you to see that. And so then I started to analyze the whole meeting from the perspective of, okay, this occurred to me because it was in fact in my best interest and I needed to see this. And I very humbly looked at it and I said, okay, what do I need to learn? I learned that I act from ego. I learned that I misunderstood from ego. I learned a few other things. But all of what I'm talking about now, how how do I deal with other people? How do I deal with conflict? How do I see the self moving through the world? And am I able to remain conscious at least part of the time, hopefully most of the time, in a situation where unconsciousness is so sucking? It's like a gravitational force field and it wants to suck you. So this is where my attention is. This is where my measure of success is. And this is where I understand that my mind thinks it was a bad situation, but the self understands that it was a good situation. And I have to surrender to that and accept that. I just wanted to tell you guys that I do not want to be too long. I'm going to start the prayer in just a sec. I also wanted to say that after one day of praying, the first prayer was the prayer of asking for help. Um, the bills that I had to pay got reduced a bit, and the amount of time that I had to pay it got extended by 2 months. Fantastic. The second job that I'm doing, which is a consultancy, which is just based on how many days I work, I just got a little surge in the work, so I do have a few more days of work. The discouragement I felt about marketing my book and the uptick in my YouTube channel, there were a couple of signs. Two people messaged me and just made me smile because like, okay, there are people who want this book, there are people who like the channel, and those things just gave me a little smile. And um and I also got paid a check that I was expecting came about 3 days sooner than I was expecting it. So they're little things. They're not massive, but I just want to say that when you stop trying to figure out your money, the higher being is allowed permission to figure out your money. Whatever it is, your job, your project, your art, your hobby, your family, your project, whatever you're working on. When you step aside, you allow something bigger, something faster, and something more powerful to take charge. So I'm already seeing those signs, and I promise to share that with you. And I guarantee you, because what I'm going through is not a theoretical process here, I know for sure what the result will be. I guarantee you that in the days to come, you will witness what you would call miracles, but it's really just the level of abundance and the level of ease that the universe is constantly extending to you but you get in the way of it. You stand in the way of it with the ego's behaviors and choices and actions. So when you go through the process of surrender, help comes in a surge, because help was always kind of waiting to surge. Okay, so I don't want this video to be too long. I want to get into the prayer. Today I want to do the prayer from the perspective of surrender. At the end of the day, speaking to spirit and allowing spirits is really the only thing that matters. But it's just I want to demonstrate different ways. I was talking to a friend last night about what a surrender prayer looks like, and surrender is, well, let's just witness it. I'm just going to take maybe 5 minutes or so and say this prayer with you. And I thank you for all of this. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, do subscribe. Check out the link in the description. There is a lot of stuff going on, from a book that I'm about to release soon to different events, workshop series, all kinds of stuff. And if you want to know more, I really encourage you to sign up for the newsletter. It's the best way to stay in touch. And if you want to be sure that you're notified that these videos are happening, then the newsletter is also the way to go. So do sign up for that. Thank you so much. Okay. I am here now, in this place, in this body, with this mind, with this life, and I am bringing all of this before the divine. I am bringing it into alignment and into surrender. And I speak now to the higher level of consciousness that acts through me as an individual soul, and that acts through the entire world and universe as the cosmic soul. And I acknowledge that your ways are higher than my ways, and your understanding is higher than my understanding. And I realize that my role as an individual and as an ego is simply to take instructions from you and to wield the body and the mind. I bring my mind before you, and I bow in surrender, and I say, I choose to listen to your stream of thoughts. I choose to listen to the whisper of you, from you. Help me to hear your voice. Help me to surrender beyond my ability to surrender. I bring my body before you. I bring all that comes with it, my stress, my anxiety, my worry, my sleep, my health, my appetite, my energy, my breath. I bring it all before you, and I bow in surrender. I can feel you and the energy that you bring flowing and pulsing through me. And I step aside and allow you full control of this body. I allow the vibrancy of your energy and your life force to flow through me. I choose the consciousness experience and the emotion experience of being aligned with you. And I surrender to your will. And I bring all of my life circumstances and all of my choices, all of my plans, and all of my actions before you. And I align to your will. Where I am today, I accept completely as a part of the present moment. And your path, the steps that you choose, the sequence that you choose, I surrender fully to that. I accept the lessons learned along the way, and I trust completely that I am held safely by you. And I will achieve what I achieve when I achieve it in your will. Thank you.